Welcome to the Modern Sports Show, home of your college athlete, where we are player-led and player-focused. Guys, I'm your host, Corey, and today we are at the University of Alabama. We are joined by none other than Germie Bernard, bro. I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Definitely.
Really appreciate you for coming on the show. And so we like to start off the show with the icebreaker question.
Okay.
And so for you, I was kind of thinking, I was like, all right, he from out west, just trying to find some different angles.
Yeah.
However, I was like, okay, I settled on DC or Marvel. Which universe is the best to you, DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, and who is your favorite superhero in the Marvel universe?
To be honest, I don't really got a favorite. I don't watch Marvel too much, but I watch it every now and then with my partners. But I don't got no favorite.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pick. If I'll say if my favorite, I'll pick Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's funny that you say Spider-Man because I got something in my notes later that I think you and Spider-Man share in common. So we gonna come back to it though.
Bet.
All right. So I got a funny story to share though about how we kind of came across each other, how we met. And so so I work at the local enterprise here in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
And you were renting a car, right? And so and I can tell you this now, but so obviously the people, fans of the Modern Sports Show, they know what we do, they know what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of it is building clientele, networking, getting with guys like you to kind of help to push the platform forward.
Most definitely.
And so like when you pulled up, you had your pro day attire on and stuff, you were getting out the car, you had a lot of bottles.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, you know the ego we have, like playing, you gotta have that when you gotta have that moxie about yourself.
No, for sure.
And so I was like, man, I'm not gonna say nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably got an ego or whatever. But then, we talked a little bit and you returned the car and then you left your parking decals in the car that you had rented.
Yep.
And so you hit me up after we exchanged contact information, hit me up like, hey, could you get the decals? And so I brought them to you at the facility. And something that really stuck out to me was when I think I either texted or called you, like, yo, I'm outside. You were like, give me 1 second, I'm coming out of Bible study, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You're a young dude. And I was like, you don't hear that often.
Yeah.
But then, even to like when we met each other, I was like, you're a real humble dude. And so that was just kind of, can't read a book by its cover.
Yeah.
For me, I was just like, man, dude is really a kind-spirited guy, even for you to come on the show like this. So, again, bro, I really appreciate you for joining. And we're curious. I think everybody is more interested in learning about you. So let's just get into that.
For sure.
So you're from Henderson.
I'm from North.
Nevada.
I'm from North Las Vegas.
You're from North Las Vegas.
North Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. So like around my area, it's schools like Cheyenne, Mojave. Like it's not schools people really know about. I went to school about 40 minutes away from me.
Okay.
Just so I can have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? My dad didn't want me to go to Gorman.
Okay.
He was like, nah. He was like, I want you to go somewhere else. He was like, regardless of where you go, your talent's gonna flourish if you put in the work. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great opportunity to be at Liberty High School. That's where I went. Liberty High School, and I met a lot of great people. I met a lot of great coaches. I built relationships, and my homeboy sir, he actually out here with me right now. We grew up playing Little League together. He came to Liberty. My boy Anthony, he played Little League with me. He was at a different school before he came to Liberty. He came to Liberty, and my boy Mouse, he was at Liberty, and I was able to meet him in high school. So we just got a great relationship. All of us, it's not many of us, but we all got a great relationship, and we all make sure we check on each other, see how we doing. They're my guys, so I really appreciate Vegas. It really taught me a lot. It's not all casinos and gambling like everybody think.
And I wanted to ask you that too. So Henderson is where Liberty High School is.
Right,
okay. So you would commute from North Las Vegas to Henderson every day for school and
40 minutes, bro. My freshman year, my mom, man, she was the greatest. Like she'll get up for work early in the morning, get up 4 o'clock. She get out by 2, and then she drive all the way out to Liberty, and she'll just sit in the parking lot all day until I'm done with practice around 6.
Yeah.
And that was every day.
Every day.
And then my boy Mouse and I call him my Uncle D. You know,
Uh-huh.
they really like family to me. They really like blood, bro.
Yeah.
And when I met Mouse and Uncle D, it really just it helped my family out a lot because my mom she didn't have to travel back and forth. I was able to stay out in Henderson, stay some nights with with Mouse, and we just really built our relationship off of that, and it was really a blessing to me because if my mom would have kept doing that, I know it would take a toll on her. You know what I mean? And it just took a lot off of her and a lot of stress off of her. And I'm just blessed to be able to have that relationship with my boy.
You know something? I think in this age of like social media and stuff, it's kind of highlighted and illuminated like culturally how similar things can be in different regions of America, but also like how different stuff is too.
Yeah.
And so I say that to say, like, of course, I'm from the state of Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like down south, obviously you're here now, you see how big football is.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of what we were raised on is football. And so my perception, not to say that it's true, but my perception with like out west and other places up north, I didn't think they valued football as much as we did. But I think that it's pretty obvious at this point, a lot of players that have come and graced Crimson Tide are from out west, like the Tuas, like the Bryce Youngs, like the Najee Harrises, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys from out west that they pulling you yourself. And so I guess like who put the ball in your hand and how serious was football early on in life for you to be doing it now?
So, I started playing football when I was about four and a half. I went straight into tackle. So my brother, he started playing football when he was about 12 years old, and I would always be at his games, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was always playing around, playing football with everybody else.
Yeah.
And my parents, they finally decided to let me play football. But even before that, bro, like I would always have a football, running around the house with a football. I would be in the garage. I would set up chairs. I would run through the chairs, like just do crazy stuff. Like I was crazy about football. Like I was outside throwing the ball to myself, like giving myself real game situations. Like we got 10 seconds left, going deep,
type of thing.
like stuff like that. I was just always outside, and I always dreamt of playing in the NFL. I never thought I would be here at the University of Alabama, but I'm here. And then I started when I was 4, and ever since then, man, I just kept going. Like I ain't gonna lie, I play too much football though. Like it's definitely taking a little bit of toll on me now. Just playing all them years. I wish I would have took some season off, but I didn't because I just love the game that much. I didn't want to be away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just that's all I did my whole life. And then I played a little bit of basketball, ran a little bit of track, but football was always it.
So so talk to me. Okay, you making this commute every day to Henderson.
Yeah.
At what point in high school do you see like, man, I'm different? Like these coaches starting to reach out. Like I think I can get to the next level. What's that like?
Yeah. So freshman year, I wasn't able to play any varsity sports for 180 days because I was on the zone variance because I lived so far.
Okay.
So they wouldn't allow me to play any varsity sports. So I was on JV. We had a nice JV squad.
Yeah.
I was doing my thing, and I was able to move up during playoffs, but I wasn't able to play. So I was just kind of just looking at the older guys, watching them play and stuff. And my mentor, his name is Sean White. He was a receiver coach there in my high school, and like he kind of seen it in me before I even really saw it in myself.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, you got it. He was like, after this year, when you come up your sophomore year, he's like, you have a starting spot. I mean,
yeah,
you have a chance to start. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to go earn it. And I'm like, all right, bet. So after freshman year, going in my sophomore year, spring ball, I'm out there and I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm doing my thing, and my first ever O was San Diego State.
San Diego State, yeah.
I got that, bro. I was hyped. I called my brother. He started crying.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of realized, like, okay, I could really take this football stuff somewhere, and I could really make my dreams come true. And ever since then, I just continued to work, and more offers started to flow. I ain't really have like big offers because I
Mhm.
committed my sophomore year of high school to the University of Washington.
Yeah. Now, I mean, but I did. I mean, you say you didn't have big offers. Now, just per your 24/7 sports account, I saw Oregon.
Yeah,
I saw Miami.
yeah,
I think I saw Michigan.
yeah.
I saw Penn State. So
Okay, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, but I'm talking about like Bama, like Georgia, Texas.
I
like,
mean, yeah.
I felt like,
Okay.
I don't know, bro. I always felt like I was the one that was always slept on. I feel like when you come out of Vegas, you don't really get a lot of notoriety.
Yeah.
And you don't have the cameras and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
A lot of people don't know how to use the social media platform out there, and we don't have a lot of social media platform out there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for guys to make it out of Vegas or get their name known like some of the other guys. And
For sure.
I always feel like because I was an underdog, I feel like I was able to compete with the guys in my class that was 5 stars or 4 stars or whatnot. But whenever I got the opportunity to play against those guys, I was able to show like I'm one of those guys too.
Yeah.
But I mean it didn't really catch people's eye, and I feel like I'm still in that same situation.
Yeah.
And it just it fueled me to go hard every single day. I got something to prove to myself, not to nobody else, just to me.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is coming in, being consistent every day, and just showing myself that what I'm saying, I am who I say I am. I can compete with anybody on any level.
Double up 3 or 4 times. I ain't telling no lies. I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Double up. I ain't telling no lies. I just
And you mentioned just committing to Washington early on. Although you would end up going somewhere else your freshman season, that being Michigan State, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I kind of want to dive into that because, like I said, when I was looking at your recruiting profile, like I always like to, do some research and learn who's coming on the show.
Yeah.
And I saw that. And so I just want you to just kind of briefly touch on that, if you will. Like,
we can talk about that.
What that looked like.
So, committed to Washington my sophomore year, high school. I was committed junior year, senior year. I knew that was where I was going. Like, I didn't really I took a couple other visits, but I wasn't taking none of them serious. Like, I was all in on Washington. And, they had Coach Adams there as my receiver coach. And just being up there, I built relationships with Romo Dunze, Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan, guys like that, even more guys on the team. And then Coach Peterson was the head coach at the time when I had first committed there.
Right.
And then he had stepped down, and then Coach Lake had took over. And I wasn't tripping. Like, I was still committed. No worries.
Yeah.
And then Coach Lake, he ended up getting fired the 2021 year.
Right.
Almost going into 2022. And that's when they hired Coach DeBoer. And Coach DeBoer, he had fired everybody and stuff. And throughout that process, my mentor was kind of talking with other schools just in case, what I'm saying, just to make sure I had a safety blanket.
Yeah.
And Michigan State was one of those schools. So I'm like December, I talked with Michigan State, and I basically told them, like, if my position coach stays, I'm gonna go to Washington. If he doesn't, I'm probably not gonna go.
Yeah.
So, DeBoer, they come visit me at home. Coach Shep, he wasn't hired yet. He didn't get hired until like a couple months after. But yeah, so Coach DeBoer, he came, he saw me. I met with him. Great guy, genuine. And I told him, I was like, Coach, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've been committed here for so long, and I built relationships, and Coach Adams, that's my guy. I've been knowing him for so long. Like, we got a good relationship. And I told him, like, I mean, if he's not here, that's gonna alter my decision.
Yeah.
So we come to sign the day, I sign, and then it was like around New Year's Eve or so, start hearing some speculations about Coach Adams. I tried to call him, he wasn't answering, he wasn't trying to communicate. I get it, I understand it, you know what I'm saying? It's part of NCAA regulations that you can't really talk about, that type of stuff, which was fine.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I ended up flying out there January 1st because I was an early enrollee. I was supposed to start school on January 3rd. So I got out there on the first. As soon as I landed, Coach Adams called me. He was like, "Man, I just got the job at Oregon."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Man, like I just landed. Like, I
Yeah,
just got to Seattle. Like,
yeah.
So I was 17 at the time, bro. My head was everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know what to think. I mean,
Yeah.
I had my parents there, and they was telling me like, I mean, it's on you. They was gonna support me regardless.
Either way, yeah.
And I mean, they kind of said their opinion. They're like, we think you should probably stay. And I was angry, bro. I was mad. I'm like, why does it gotta happen to me? Like, why you can't communicate? We've been building a relationship for 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just ain't really understand it and whatnot. And it was cool. So I proceeded to, go meet with the board, Coach Grubb. They kind of giving me their insight, what they think about me, how they gonna use me in the offense, whatnot, what they think of me, and they had nothing but great things to say.
Right.
But I don't know, in my heart, I just felt really off.
Yeah.
And so I decided to, go back home. I talked with Michigan State, and I told Michigan State I'm gonna come.
Yeah.
They had Courtney Hawkins. He was a great receiver coach, man.
Yeah.
Really underrated receiver coach. He's a coach that really gonna get you to perfect the stuff that you really want to work on it, and the stuff that you're gonna use in game.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great decision for me to go there for my learning process.
Yeah.
To build mentally. I went through a lot that year.
Right.
Lost a lot of confidence, but was able to overcome that. I played a little bit, made some production.
Oh yeah.
But my mentor and Coach DeBoer, they have a good relationship, man. Coach DeBoer would always talk to my mentor and ask him how I'm doing and stuff. And my mentor, he knew how I was feeling. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm going to flourish in this system that we're in. And I made the ultimate decision to hit the portal after that first year. And Coach DeBoer was willing to bring me back to Washington, man. And honestly, it was probably the greatest decision of my life was to go to Michigan State. Then to go to the portal, bro, because it just helped me so much. It helped me grow up a little bit. And so I mean, I hit the portal. I went to Washington. I thought I was gonna be there. I thought I was gonna be chilling, man. But God had a different calling for Coach DeBoer and for me.
For sure.
And after that 2023 year, we went to the Natty.
Let's I just want to slow you down.
Yeah.
It's a couple, but I appreciate the transparency.
For sure.
So in that, right, in you going back to UW, I'm sure, like you mentioned, being just 17 at the time, dealing with a lot of emotions, and I think in terms of as a sport or as an athlete, right, I think we kind of overlook the mental aspect of performance and like how that, just enables you to go out and make the plays that you want to make and stuff like that. So you mentioning that's a beautiful thing, just about like confidence being knocked down, but then rebuilding that and then becoming a better version of yourself in the process. So I love that. Now
I'm still working on that, bro. Like I go to therapy. I meet with a therapist, bro. And, she keep me right, bro. She keep me right. I mean, I always lean on my faith. My faith is always gonna be first, but it's also good to get guidance from a professional within that realm. So meeting with her, I probably meet with her twice a week. No, I meet with her every 2 weeks, and then I meet with Coach Kramer. We have a Bible study every Monday. And so like I try to just continue to build my mental and just continue to learn as we growing up, because life hard, bro. Life hard, especially as an athlete. People don't really understand how much we go through, and I don't think nobody really will really understand until they in our shoes. And I get it though. A lot of people, they have their own perception and stuff like that. They think we just got it good because we D1 football players. I mean, we are very blessed, but at the same time we go through a lot mentally, physically. And I'm just very grateful to have a person like her to be able to help me out throughout this process.
So these are a couple of words that come to mind when I think about you as a player, right? Because like I said before we started the camera and everything, I'm a big X's and O's guy. I mean, I think if you play football at a high level, like if you get to a high level, you know what it's like in them film rooms. Like they breaking down every single thing, and so like you just become like encaptured with that type of process. So now even when I'm watching games, I'm like, okay, what's the front? What are we looking like on the back end? Is our receivers in the trips bunch? Are they double G? All that good stuff. for you though, right? When I'm watching you on tape, a few words come to mind. Okay, tell me. I want to know what you think about this.
Okay.
Reliable.
Yep.
Versatile.
Yep.
That's about the Spider-Man thing that I was telling you come back to.
Yep.
Versatile. Focused and concentrated. And then there was one more I had. I want to say, I said versatile, focused, concentrated. I think those are it. Reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Those, reliable. I ended on reliable. And so for each one reliable, I say because each time from your time in Michigan State to Washington to Alabama, when the ball is in the air, you're coming down with it.
Yeah.
You make the catches you're supposed to make. You're consistent. I say focus and concentrated because there are a lot of plays that I saw on tape when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, he's supposed to fall after this catch. Or his momentum is supposed to make him not be able to catch that ball. Right? I think you had a beautiful catch at Wisconsin, the touchdown. You got a little toe tap in, nice concentration. There was another play I want to say against I think it was a smaller school. Caught the ball up the sideline, or it was maybe like a cross or a post or something. You caught the ball, you maintain your balance, ran the end zone. Can't think of it.
It was South Carolina.
South Carolina?
South Carolina.
That was a great catch. It's like I'm looking at, like, even after you make the catch, you're supposed to fall, but you just having the concentration, the focus to, get through that. And so, and the versatility, right? Like, you can play outside, you can play inside, you can play in the core and the trips, bunch sets, like I said. And so, what do you think about that assessment of yourself?
Yeah, I think that you hit it spot on. I think, I had a meeting with my coaches and they kind of said some of the same things, and they gave me some things that I need to work on. But for the most part, I say you definitely hit spot on. And, I think just the versatile spot and the reliable, I think as a player that's what you want, because being reliable, the coaches want to put the ball in your hand. They trust you. They trust you to go out there and make the plays, third down, big play.
You made a lot of those
and,
too, man.
You know what I'm saying? And they lean on you for that, and I'm built for that.
Yeah.
I'm built for it.
Yeah.
And then versatile, I think that's just how you're gonna make your way throughout the league. If they can use you in different spots, man, I feel like you're gonna flourish.
You mentioned, we kind of transitioned away because I did want to know what you thought about that. But you go to Washington and you go to the national championship. Like, you play in the national championship game.
I didn't even get to play.
Well, I'm saying, like, just being a part of the team.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like, getting to the moment. But you were still like a key contributor.
Yeah,
even that season.
I had a high ankle sprain, so I wasn't able to play. I wasn't able to play on that.
Yeah, but just like, what was that process like? What was it like being in that environment, in that culture at that time?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I first got to Washington, and we started lifting, started working out, and then I see all the linemen out there, they doing extra work.
Yeah.
I see the receivers be out there doing extra work.
Yeah.
I see DBs out there doing extra work. I'm like, and it's consistent.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm like, these guys work. Like,
yeah.
I like this. I'm calling my homies. I'm talking to them. I'm like, bro, we gonna win the natty this year. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling them
That's
that the
crazy.
whole year. I'm like, we gonna win the natty this year, bro. We got a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we ain't have all the best players, but it was a brotherhood, bro. And that's what really made that team really good, because everybody was ready to ride for each other. All the egos out the door. Like, everybody was happy for everybody. Nobody had envy. Nobody was hating.
Yeah.
And that's what you need on the team. The teams that have a brotherhood, that are close knit, and you could trust. Ain't no squad gonna be able to beat that.
It's a good day to get money,
Now, following that season, right? Obviously, like, world breaking news. Saban retires.
Yeah.
And like, I remember it's one of them events. But I remember where I was at when I got the news. And I'm like, just coming off the year that they had, right, when he retired. I'm like that's still it's. I was talking to someone about this the other day. It makes it that much more impressive what he was able to do with the team that he had going into his retirement. Like, that is just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for you though, you're 1,000+ miles away, right? And like you didn't. I'm sure at the time you didn't quite understand the residual that would take place. I'm sure you watching this just like the rest of us. And so, what was it like when you got the news that your head coach had got picked for the job down here in Tuscaloosa?
Honestly, bro, I was excited, and I kind of already knew where I was going. Once he got it, I was like, all right, I'm probably gonna be at Bama just because of the relationship that I have with Coach DeBoer and Coach Shep. And once he got the job, and once everything started getting in place, Coach Shep was like,
"You already know, yeah."
He's like, "Come on,
yeah."
And I was like, "Let go, let go." I would never skip on the opportunity to be here at the University of Alabama. I never in a million years would ever thought that I would have been here.
Yeah.
So I think, bro, God just led me here, bro, and I'm just forever grateful for that, to be here and to be able to have the resources and the connections and to just be able to meet Julio and the guys that always come through. It's definitely a blessing to be here, so I'll never take it for granted.
And so I'm curious, like I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, but I kind of want to get your take on it. What are some differences that you see, like now that you're here in Alabama versus just on the football scene versus being out west? Like what are some differences?
I think that one, the fans really, really love football out here.
Yeah.
They passionate about it, and as a football player, that's what you want. It kind of gets you going a little bit more. You know when the fans into it,
yeah,
like
it
when
make
you're in the game,
it
make you ready to go.
Yeah.
And then also just like the work people put in out here, like they really take football serious out here.
Yeah.
And Tuscaloosa really is a small place. It's quiet.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps you focus.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like being out here. It's kind of helping me focus, helping me be out the way a little bit, and just being able to work, bro. That's really the big thing is the work that people put in and how passionate they are with it.
Nah, I agree, and I think anybody that lives in Tuscaloosa or in the surrounding, it's simple, bro. It's either Alabama or Auburn. You already know. And so I want to kind of fast forward. You all are coming off of I don't know, how would you categorize this past season? I don't want to do it yourself. How would you categorize it?
Ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're coming off an ass season.
Yeah.
What are the goals? Like, what has this spring looked like? Kind of, what are you working on personally? What is, like, just tell me, give me the feel, I guess.
We've been after it.
Yeah.
Like, we got disgusting taste in our mouth.
Yeah.
Don't nobody ever want to feel like that again. And we just working, bro. We just working. The team camaraderie is getting better. But personally, I'm really just trying to work on being a leader, a vocalized leader.
Yeah.
And leading the right way, and being consistent within being a leader. Being a leader, it's a different role.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to embrace that role, and I've been embracing it, and I've been trying to improve, trying to learn new things, how to be a leader. So I watch different podcasts about different people. I like to watch The Pivot. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
And I just like to hear a little motivational stuff, a little inspirational stuff, so I can be able to feed it to other guys. And then another thing I've been working on is trying to bring others along on their journey of faith. You know what I'm saying? Doing what God put me here to do. I have a purpose here, and I'm just trying to understand my purpose and also just bring guys along.
Let me ask you this: is that challenging? Like, especially, like, I'm gonna kind of speak in code with this question, but the things that you have access to, is that challenging to be this high-profile football player while maintaining a steady level of faith?
Yeah, it's really challenging. I feel like for me, it's an everyday fight, man. And some days, I can lose those fights. You know what I mean? But I know God knows my heart, and He knows how much I want to seek that relationship with Him. But yeah, man, I'll definitely say it's one of the hardest things, to be honest. Is trying to balance, your faith, keep that the main thing, but also balance, your lifestyle at the same time.
Yeah.
So I just try to tell guys to lean on your faith, and sometimes I can even have a hard time doing that, but
Yeah.
I don't never give up. I don't never give up, and I'm just trying to surrender myself to him, and kind of let him take control, because what I do doesn't matter. It's everything. What I'm doing is to glorify him, and whatever way that I can, I'm going to try my hardest to. So just being able to, like I said, just trying to just find my purpose,
Yeah.
and I'm slowly getting understanding from him. He provides me the wisdom when I need it,
Yeah.
and I just continue to be in constant prayer, and I just spread his word any way that I can. I send scriptures to my guys all the time, and just reminding them that this is the most important thing about life. Like, all this other stuff don't matter.
Yeah.
It really don't. Everything is about seeking his relationship with him, so you can have eternal life when that time does come.
Yeah. I mean, that's beautiful, actually. I guess so I wanna kind of bring it to a close. So what is Germie listening to before the game?
Yeah. Okay. So before the game, like, on the bus,
Yeah.
walking in, doing our champion walk.
Yeah.
I'm a Rob fan. Rob my favorite. He top one.
Okay.
And I'm listening to Rob to keep me calm, just chill vibe.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to go warm up and I got that gunner on.
Gunner, okay.
Gunner always gonna do it for me.
Okay.
For sure.
Pre-game rituals, like what's some things that you like? I gotta have these socks, or I gotta have these gloves. Like what's yours?
Nah, okay, so I always go out when it's like 10, 15 minutes left. I don't be out there too long, burning myself out. I go out there, take a knee by the goalpost. I pray, and then I always throw with my boy Austin. I get Austin. I get 10 catches front, 10 catches side, 10 catches side, and I go to the right side of the field, run like 3 fade balls. Go to the left side, run 3 fade balls, and then I go see my people at the fence, and then I go back inside, and I just be chilling after that.
And then lastly, man, and it's actually funny. So like, I got Bernard tatted on my arm. That's my dad's name.
Okay, that's dope.
And so just thought to make that connection before we got out of here. But just in closing, what is something about you, Germie, that people don't know about you that you would maybe want them to know? Just some tips, advice, life advice that you have for the younger dudes. Like, just put your signature on this episode.
Yeah. So I'll say one thing that I would like people to know about me is that I'm a very open person. I'm very open to everybody. I want to be able to make people's days. I want to be able to be a light to other people, serve other people. That's what I'm here for. So like, if anybody ever needs something, they can come to me. It's not the easiest to just get in contact with me because of everybody don't got my number. Insta, I be on social media, but not that much. But any way possible, I try to check my DMs frequently to see if people are hitting me up or whatnot. But people can always hit me up, and they can always ask me for whatever. And if I can, I'll try to
Make it
happen.
Yeah.
And then just for the advice for the young guys is just be consistent. Don't never stop working. Don't never give up. Take care of your mental throughout this process, because that's the biggest thing. I see a lot of kids lose themselves throughout this process because they have this high ego coming to high school because they 5 stars, and then they come into college, then they just think that they're supposed to be given everything, and it kind of alters them a little bit. So go into everything level-headed. Go into work. Everything has to be earned. Nothing is given. And then stick to the process. Stay true to the process, man. I feel like a lot of people nowadays they don't want to enjoy the process.
That's real.
They just want
Yeah.
they just want the end goal.
That's real.
But the process is when your character is built. That's when you're built. So
Yeah.
just enjoy the process. Stay down until you know your time comes. Everybody gonna have their time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I sat behind NFL guys.
Yeah.
My first 2 years of college, I sat behind Keon Coleman, Jaden Reed. I sat behind Romo Dunze, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk, and it was definitely tough because, you know, I wanted to play, but I also understood what God wanted for me, and you know, I ain't gonna never rush anything. You know, I know that His timing is always gonna be perfect, and you know, I just kind of learned from those people. Don't have an ego to where you can't learn from other people, because you always have room to improve. You always have room to learn. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. Just learn from the other guys, bro. And also, this is the last thing. When people are talking to you like coaches, they might be yelling or whatnot, but listen to what they're saying and not how they're saying it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we ending this how we started it, man. The ego. Like I said, I probably never would have said nothing to you if I didn't put my ego to the side and just be like, just speak to him, you know. And so, man, I think just through us conversing even outside of this, and then obviously now you being on the show, I think you're a great young man, humble dude, man. The trajectory, the path you're on, bro, keep working. I know you got it, bro. I have no doubt next year around this time you be getting ready to sign a big time contract. So I appreciate you for coming on the Modest Sports Show and telling your story. Guys, be sure to go follow all his social media and get in contact with him. Like he said, he there if you need him. So
There if you need it, man.
guys, we appreciate you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Definitely.